This is the story of something that happened to my friend Tara. And trust me, once you hear it, you'll never look at social media the same way again. It's not one of those made-up ghost stories people tell for fun. No, this is real. And it still gives me chills when I think about it. So Tara was this fun, outgoing girl, always online, always posting. You know the type? Instagram stories every few hours, selfies with filters, dance videos, food pics, hashtags for everything. She had about 15,000 followers, most of them strangers, but that didn't bother her. She loved the attention, always had, and at first, everything seemed harmless. Then one night, she got a DM. It was simple, just one word. Hello. She ignored it at first. I mean, who doesn't get random DMs, right? But then another message popped up from the same account. I see you. She rolled her eyes, probably thought it was some creep trying to be edgy. She blocked the account and moved on. That should have been the end of it. But the next night, another message came, this time from a different account. I see you sleep. Now that made her pause. She showed it to me the next day. We laughed it off, told her it was probably someone, just being weird. But then I noticed something in the photo the account had sent. Yeah, they had sent a photo. It was Tara, asleep in her room. Now before you freak out, let me explain. It wasn't some old photo from her stories. This one was taken from outside her window. You could see the curtain slightly open. Her sleeping. On her side, the lamp on her desk still glowing dimly. It was recent, fresh, taken without her knowing. That's when it got real. She called the police, of course. They came, checked the house, checked the windows, but didn't find anything. No footprints, no fingerprints, nothing. They said it might be a prank, maybe even someone she knew trying to scare her. But Tara swore she hadn't told anyone else. Still, she installed security cameras the next day. For a few days, things were quiet. No messages, no weird accounts, nothing. She felt better, even laughed about it again. But one night, while we were on a video call, it happened. I was talking to her, just normal stuff, when she suddenly went pale. Like all the color drained from her face. I asked what was wrong, and she whispered, "He's in my room." I froze. What do you mean? She turned her phone camera around slowly, and for a second I didn't see anything. Just her bed, her mirror, her closet. Then the closet door moved, just a tiny inch. I said, "Get out of there now." She stood up, still holding the phone, backing toward the door. And then the closet door creaked open fully. And there was no one there. At least, that's what we thought. Until the video glitched. Just for a split second. Like something passed in front of the camera. A shadow. Fast. Too fast. But I saw it. I swear I saw it. She ran out of the room. Locked herself in the bathroom. Called the police again. They searched the house from top to bottom. Nothing. No one. Not even on the cameras she had installed. It was like whoever or whatever it was didn't exist. But she wasn't done yet. The next day, she got tagged in a video on a random account. No followers, no posts, just this one video. It was footage from her room. Night vision, black and white. And in the video, you could see her sleeping, while a tall, thin figure stood at the foot of her bed, just watching her. Not moving. Not saying anything. Just standing there for hours. She deleted all her accounts after that. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, everything. Just vanished from the internet. But it didn't stop. That night someone left a note at her door. No envelope, just a folded paper. It said, "You can delete your accounts, but I'm still following you." I swear to you, I was there when she read it. Her hands were shaking. She didn't sleep that night or the one after. I stayed with her, but even then she would jump at every sound, every creak, every knock. Then the worst part happened. She found another message. But this time it wasn't online. It was written in lipstick on her mirror. Post something, or I will. We didn't know what it meant. But it scared her so badly she actually posted a photo that night. A simple selfie with the caption, "I'm okay." But she wasn't, and neither was I. Because that night I got a DM too, from the same type of blank account. No profile picture, no posts, just one message. "Now I see you too. I don't post much. Barely even use social media. But somehow, he found me. Or it. Whatever it is. Watching people through their screens, through their cameras, through their posts. Like it feeds off attention, off visibility. We started warning others, telling people to be careful what they post, who they let follow them. But no one listens. They never do. Not until it's too late. Tara eventually moved away. Changed her number, new phone, new house, no internet presence at all. She even started using an old flip phone. No camera, no apps. But I don't think she's free. Not really. She called me a few weeks ago and all she said was, "He's still watching, even when I don't post." Then the line went dead. I haven't heard from her since. So if you're listening to this story, take it seriously. This isn't just a ghost haunting a house, it's something worse. It's a ghost haunting the internet. It watches what you share, what you like, who you talk to, what you do when you think you're alone. And the more people see you, the more it sees you. So if you ever get a message that just says, "I see you," don't just block them. Don't just laugh. Check your windows. Check your closet. And for the love of everything, don't post anything. This is the story of what happened to my friend Jake. It's called a social media horror story. But it's not your usual spooky tale. It's real. It's the kind of thing that makes you stop and think twice before you scroll through your phone late at night. So get comfortable, and I'll tell you everything. Jake was like most people. He loved social media. Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. He used them all. He was always sharing his life online, showing off pictures with friends, cool places he went to, funny videos. He had a good following too, about 10,000 people who liked what he posted. He enjoyed the attention, liked the feeling of being connected. One evening, Jake was scrolling through his messages when he saw something weird. There was a new follower request from an account with no profile picture and a strange name, Watcher 404. Jake didn't think much of it and accepted it. Maybe it was a fan or someone who wanted to be friends. But then, that same night, he got a message from that account. It said, "I know what you did." Jake was confused. What did it mean? He didn't reply. Maybe it was a joke or a prank. But then the messages kept coming. "Watching you now. Don't look away. Check your phone camera." By now, Jake was getting nervous. He showed me the messages the next day. We both laughed at first, thinking it was just some bored kid trying to scare him. But then things started to feel strange. That night, Jake was lying in bed, phone in hand, when suddenly the front camera of his phone switched on by itself. He didn't touch it, didn't press anything. The screen showed his face, but then the camera moved slowly to the side, as if someone was holding the phone and filming the room. Jake jumped up and dropped the phone. When he picked it up, the camera was off. He checked his phone settings, but didn't find anything unusual. No apps with camera access. It was like the phone was being controlled by someone else. He turned the phone off and left it on the table, but he couldn't sleep. The next day, he took the phone to a shop to get it checked. The technician said everything was fine. No sign of viruses or hacks. Jake thought maybe he was imagining things. But that night, it happened again. His phone's camera turned on by itself. This time, it showed something different. A shadow standing behind him. At first, Jake thought he was seeing things, but when he turned around, no one was there. He texted me in panic, asking if I could come over. I did, and we stayed up watching the phone. Nothing happened at first. Then, at exactly midnight, the camera switched on again. This time it showed a face. Not Jake's face, but a pale, blurry face staring directly into the camera. It looked like someone trying to come through the screen. We both screamed and dropped the phone. But the face stayed on the screen for a few seconds before disappearing. Jake was terrified. He deleted all his social media accounts that day. Said he couldn't deal with it anymore. But even after he did that, the messages kept coming. Now they came through text messages from unknown numbers. One message said, "You can't hide." Another said, "I'm closer than you think." Jake was convinced someone was stalking him in real life. He started checking his locks every night, looking out the windows, even sleeping with the lights on. Then one night, he got a message that made his blood run cold. "Look outside your window." He didn't want to, but curiosity got the better of him. Slowly, he went to the window and peeked outside. The street was empty, quiet. No cars, no people, just the dark night. Then he saw it, a figure standing across the street, barely visible in the moonlight. Tall, thin, motionless. Watching him. Jake slammed the window shut and locked it. He called the police, but they said they couldn't do much without proof. They told him to stay safe and keep his doors locked. Jake didn't sleep that night. Over the next few days, Jake started noticing other strange things. Lights flickering, doors opening by themselves, his phone ringing with no one on the other end. And every time he looked at his phone, the messages were waiting. "Soon. Your time is up." One evening, Jake came to me, completely shaken. He told me he thought about moving away, leaving town, starting fresh somewhere else. But the thing that scared him most was that the figure outside his window didn't seem to be human. It never moved like a person. It was too still, too strange. I wanted to help, so I suggested he get new devices, change all his passwords, get someone to check his house for bugs or cameras. We tried everything, but the feeling didn't go away. Then Jake stopped answering my calls. After a week, I decided to go to his house. When I got there, the front door was unlocked. The lights were off. I called his name, but no answer. Then I saw his phone lying on the kitchen table, screen cracked and still on. I picked it up. The last message on the screen was from Watcher 404. It said, "Game over." I tried to call Jake, but his phone was off. I looked around the house. Nothing seemed out of place. No sign of a struggle, no note, no clue where he went. That was 2 months ago. Since then, I've heard stories online. People getting messages from unknown accounts, seeing strange faces on their phone cameras, feeling like someone is watching them all the time. Some say it's a hacker, some say it's a ghost. But I think it's something worse. Something that lives in the screens waiting for people to notice it. So if you're watching this and you get a message from someone you don't know, with no profile picture, don't reply. Don't accept the request. And whatever you do, don't look into the front camera when it turns on by itself, because you might just see something watching back. And trust me, once it sees you, it never lets go. It's about my friend Emily, and it's a real social media horror story. You'll want to listen closely because it's one of those stories that sounds like a nightmare, but actually happened. It might even make you think twice about what you share online. Emily was an ordinary girl, just like anyone else. She loved using social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. She enjoyed posting pictures of her life, sharing funny videos, and chatting with friends. She wasn't super famous or anything, but she had a good number of followers, mostly people she knew. Social media was her way to stay connected, especially since she lived far from her family. One day, Emily posted a photo from a small cafe she loved. It was a cozy place, with warm lights and soft music playing in the background. The photo showed her smiling with a cup of coffee. Simple, right? But that photo started something strange. Within minutes, she got a comment from someone she didn't know. The username was Silent Watcher. No profile picture, just the words, "Nice photo." Emily thought it was just a random person trying to be polite, so she replied, "Thanks." But the next comment was weirder. "I see you." Emily laughed it off at first. Maybe it was a joke, or someone trying to be creepy just for fun. She ignored it. Then, over the next few days, things got worse. She started getting direct messages from Silent Watcher. They were short and strange. "Look behind you. Not so safe now. Watching." Emily showed me the messages. I could tell she was a bit scared, but she wasn't ready to believe it was serious. After all, it's just social media, right? People say creepy things all the time online. But one night, Emily was home alone, scrolling through her phone before bed, when her phone started acting weird. The screen flickered, then the front camera turned on by itself. Emily froze. The camera showed her room, empty at first. Then slowly, the camera turned toward the doorway behind her. She didn't want to turn around. She texted me immediately. "Dude, my phone's acting crazy. The camera turned on and it's showing the door." I told her to calm down, maybe it was just a glitch. But deep down, I was worried. The next day, Emily went out with friends to forget about it. But the messages kept coming. Then things got even stranger. Emily started noticing little things missing from her room. A book here, a jacket there. Nothing valuable, just small things. She thought maybe she misplaced them, but then she found muddy footprints near her window one morning. She locked all the doors and windows, but the feeling of being watched grew stronger. One night, she got a new message from Silent Watcher. "Let's play a game." Emily didn't reply. The next message was a video. She clicked it, and her heart almost stopped. It was a live video of her own room. The camera was shaky, and it showed her bed, the empty chair, and then her reflection in the window. But wait, something was wrong. Behind her reflection there was a shadow, a dark figure standing just outside the window. Emily screamed and dropped her phone. The video stopped. She called me crying. "Someone's outside my house. They're watching me. I'm so scared." I told her to call the police, but she was afraid they wouldn't believe her without proof. She wanted to keep the phone and see if it happened again. That night, she left her phone on the table and sat in the living room with all the lights on. At midnight, the phone buzzed again. Another video. This time the camera showed the front door from the outside. A figure stood there, tall, wearing dark clothes, face hidden. Then the video shifted to the street, empty, quiet, except for a shadow moving closer to the house. Emily was frozen with fear. She wanted to run but felt stuck. Suddenly the phone screen went black. Then, a message appeared. "See you soon." The next day, Emily decided she had to leave. She packed a bag and went to stay with her cousin. She thought she was safe away from her house. But the messages didn't stop. They came from different accounts now, all with no profile pictures, all sending creepy videos or short threatening texts. Emily deleted her social media accounts, changed her phone number, even got a new phone. Still, The messages found her. One night at her cousin's house, she woke up to a strange sound. Her phone buzzed on the bedside table. The screen showed a live video feed, not of her room, but somewhere else. Somewhere dark and empty. Then a voice whispered through the phone speaker, barely audible. "Wherever you go, I'm watching." Emily was terrified. She showed me the video. It was grainy, but I could see a tall figure standing in the shadows. Tried to figure out who it was. The police got involved, but without a location or a real person's name, it was impossible to catch whoever was behind it. The worst part? Emily said she could feel eyes on her all the time, like the watcher was always nearby. One night, she told me she saw the figure outside the window of her cousin's house. The police came quickly, but found no one. After months of this nightmare, Emily stopped using social media completely. She said it wasn't worth it. Now, whenever I see a friend post something online, I remember Emily's story. It's a warning. Not everything is safe on social media. Some people, or maybe something, use it to get close in ways you never expect. So if you ever get a strange message from someone you don't know, or your phone starts acting weird, don't ignore it. Don't be like Emily, who thought it was just a joke at first. Because sometimes, what starts with a simple comment on a photo can turn into a horror story you never forget. And remember, the next time your phone camera turns on by itself, don't look. Because what's watching you might not be friendly, and if it wants to play a game, don't play. Trust me on this. I'm going to tell you a story. This one is called a social media horror story, and it's about my friend Jake. It's creepy, but it's true, or at least, as true as he told me. You might want to think twice the next time you hit post, or accept a new follower. Jake was just a regular guy. He loved social media, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, you name it. He used it a lot. Posting pictures, sharing stories, chatting with friends. Jake was always careful about what he posted, but he also liked to get attention. His followers were mostly friends and a few strangers who liked his funny posts. One evening, Jake was scrolling through his feed when he noticed a new follower, a profile called Dark Mirror. No photo, no posts, just the name. That wasn't unusual. Lots of people follow for no reason, so Jake accepted the follow request. At first, nothing happened. But then Dark Mirror started liking all his old posts. Not just recent ones, but photos from months ago. Jake found that odd but shrugged it off. Then the messages began. The first message was simple. "I see you." Jake laughed. Probably just a weird joke. He replied, "Who are you?" No answer. Then the messages kept coming, but they didn't say much, just creepy little things. Watching, close, soon. Jake started feeling a little nervous. He showed me the messages and I could tell he wasn't joking. It felt like someone was right there, staring at him through his phone. One night, Jake was at home alone. He heard his phone buzz. A new message from Dark Mirror. "Look outside." Jake was confused. He looked out the window. Nothing. Just the quiet street and the night. Then his phone buzzed again. A picture. It was a photo of his own living room. Taken from outside, through the window. Jake's heart jumped. How did they get that photo? He checked every door and window. Locked them tight, but the messages didn't stop. The next day, Jake told his friend about it, me. I said, "Dude, maybe someone's messing with you. Could be a hacker, or worse." That night, Jake left his phone on the kitchen table while he went to bed. At 2 a.m. his phone lit up. Another message from Dark Mirror. This time it was a video. Jake pressed play. The video showed his own bedroom. The camera moved slowly, showing his bed, the closet, then the window. Then, the camera zoomed toward the door. And there was a shadow, a tall figure standing just outside wearing a dark hoodie, face hidden. Jake jumped out of bed, nearly dropped his phone. He ran to the door, checked outside. No one. He locked everything again, but the fear stayed. The next morning, Jake wanted to get rid of the problem. He blocked Dark Mirror, changed all his passwords, and deleted the account. But the messages kept coming, from new accounts, all with strange names and no photos. It was like they were everywhere. One afternoon, Jake went to the park to clear his mind. Suddenly, his phone buzzed. Another video. This time, it was live. The video showed the park, Jake's location, and there, just behind a tree, was the shadowy figure again. Jake looked around, heart pounding. No one was there. He ran home and told me everything. We tried to figure out what was going on. Was it some hacker? A stalker? But no one knew. Days passed, and the messages grew more personal. One said, "I know your secret." Jake didn't tell me what the secret was, but I could see it scared him. Then came the worst message. "Tonight." Jake didn't want to say more, but I could tell he was terrified. That night he barely slept. He kept his phone close, waiting for the next message. At midnight, his phone buzzed again. A call this time. He answered slowly. All he heard was breathing, heavy and slow, then a whisper. "I'm closer than you think." Jake dropped the phone. He looked outside the window and saw a shadow moving quickly away. The next morning, Jake packed a bag and left town. He deleted all his social media and changed his number. We lost touch for a while. Months later, Jake messaged me. He said he was safe but still felt like someone was watching him. He never went back online. So here's the thing about social media. It's not always fun and games. Sometimes people use it to get too close. Sometimes they watch when you don't expect. And sometimes, the worst part isn't what's on the screen, but what's watching through it. So next time you get a strange message or notice something weird on your phone, don't ignore it. Because sometimes the real horror isn't the ghost stories, it's the ones that come through your phone. And that, my friend, is Jake's social media horror story. I want to tell you a story. It's a social media horror story, and it's about a guy named Mark. It's the kind of story that starts off normal, but ends up feeling like a bad dream you can't wake up from. So, listen closely. This one might make you think twice before you post or accept friend requests online. Mark was like most people. He loved social media, especially Instagram and Snapchat. He used it every day to share moments, funny memes, and pictures with his friends. Mark wasn't famous or anything, just a normal guy with a decent number of followers. He liked being social, and the internet made it easy. One day, Mark got a message from someone he didn't know. The username was Shadowface. No profile picture, just those 2 words. Mark thought it was strange, but didn't pay much attention. He replied politely, "Who's this?" No reply. The next day he found more messages. Short ones like, "I'm watching and you can't hide." Mark laughed nervously and blocked the account. But soon after, the messages came from a different username than another, all strange names with no pictures. Mark started feeling uneasy. Then one evening, something creepy happened. He was sitting alone in his room scrolling through his phone, when suddenly the front camera turned on by itself. Mark froze. The camera showed his room from his phone's view, but then it slowly started moving, as if someone else was holding the phone. He quickly locked the screen, but the camera didn't turn off. The phone started sending photos automatically. Photos of his room, his bed, the door, and even the hallway outside. Mark's heart raced. He grabbed his laptop and ran to his parents' room. He told them everything. The messages, the camera turning on, the photos being sent. His parents were worried and suggested he stop using social media for a while. Mark agreed, but the strange messages didn't stop. One night, Mark woke up to a text that said, "Look outside your window." He got up and looked. It was dark and quiet. No one there. But then his phone buzzed again. Another message. "Look again." This time through the window, he saw a shadowy figure standing still under the streetlight. Mark's hands shook as he closed the curtains and locked the window. He called me right away, scared and confused. We tried to figure out who it could be. Maybe a stalker, someone hacking his phone, but no one knew for sure. The next day, Mark's phone got hacked even more. The strange account started posting pictures of his school, his favorite coffee shop, even his favorite park. It was like whoever was doing this knew everything about him. Mark wanted to go to the police, but without proof or a clear identity, they couldn't do much. Days passed and the messages became worse. One message said, "I'm inside your house." Mark checked everywhere. No one. But the feeling of being watched never left. One night, Mark left his phone on the kitchen table while he went to bed. At midnight, his phone buzzed with a live video. Mark looked at the screen. It showed the inside of his bedroom. The camera slowly moved to show his bed. Empty. Then, the camera turned toward the door. And standing there, just barely visible in the dark, was the shadowy figure. Mark screamed and jumped out of bed. He turned. On every light in the house, he called his parents, but the figure was gone. Mark stayed at his friend's house that night. He was terrified. The next morning, Mark told me he was thinking about quitting social media forever. But then came the final message. A video. Mark played it, and his blood ran cold. It was a video from inside his own room. But this time, the camera moved toward his closet. The door creaked open, and the shadow stepped out. The figure turned slowly toward the camera. And then it smiled. Mark didn't sleep for days. He finally deleted all his social media accounts, changed all his passwords, even changed his phone number. Still, he said he sometimes feels like the shadow is near, watching, waiting. He doesn't use his phone much anymore. So, what's the lesson here? Social media can be fun, but it can also open doors we don't want to open. Sometimes the people on the other side aren't who they seem, and sometimes the shadows are real. If you ever get strange messages or your phone acts weird, don't ignore it. Trust your gut, because the worst horror might be hiding right inside your screen. That's Mark's social media horror story. And remember, not everyone online is a friend. Sometimes there's something much worse. 1 mini.